Hi, in this video I'd like to review how we go over powers of powers when we're dealing with exponents. So here we have a problem where 3 to the second is all raised to the fourth power. So the answer is when we have powers of powers, we multiply the exponents. 2 times 4 is 8, so we have 3 to the 8th. But why is that? What's the reasoning? It's because 3 to the second is all in parentheses. Therefore, 3 to the second is a base. It's sort of weird thinking of as something that has an exponent and is also a base, but 3 to the second, since it's all raised to the fourth, 3 to the second is by itself an actual base. So what it's saying here is we want to multiply 3 squared times itself 4 times. So that's 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared. That's really hard to say fast, but that's what's happening, all right? Now we know through our product of powers rule that when we are multiplying like bases, in this case they're all threes, you add the exponents. So we add 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that equals 8. And so here we are actually adding them. You don't actually have to do this step right here on paper, but I wanted you to see that it actually adds up to 8, which the shortcut rule of just multiplying the exponents shows. All right, so here we have another situation where we have 3c in parentheses. Everything in parentheses is going to be part of the base. So that means that the 2 acts upon the 3 as well as the c. So we're raising 3 to the second power as well as c to the second power. Another way of showing it is 3c is being multiplied against itself. How many times? 2 times, because that's what the exponent is. The base is 3c because 3c is completely in parentheses. So we could rearrange 3c times 3c as being 3 squared times c squared, because 3 times 3 is what's happening and c times c is what's happening. You could leave it as 3 squared c squared, because that's what we're doing, we're simplifying. Or if you want to, since 3 squared is such an easy number to actually evaluate, you can do so. So 9c squared is another perfectly good answer. When you're simplifying, don't feel like you have to actually evaluate 3 squared. Just because it was so easy here, I did it. If it was, for instance, 81 squared or 110 squared, you definitely would not want to evaluate it. Just keep it simplified. Okay, so the quick way to do that problem is to think of 3 having an exponent of 1, which it does, because if there isn't an exponent there, you can assume it's a 1, and c having an exponent of 1. So now you're just distributing the exponent 2 over the other exponents, and you're multiplying 2 times 1 and 2 times 1, so you get 3 squared c squared. Okay, so let's do this. We have 4a that's in the parentheses, so both the 4 and the a are considered bases when it comes to being squared. And so how would we do this one? Well, we're going to distribute the 2 over to both the 4 and the a, so it'll be 4 squared a squared. Why does that work? Why does that shortcut rule work? Because 4a is the base. So really what we're doing is we're multiplying 4a, the base, against itself again, 4a. And since we have 4a times 4a, you can rearrange that as 4 squared a squared because of the property of commutative multiplication. So the commutative property of multiplication, that's why you can rearrange. Okay, so here's another one. We have 6 squared a to the third, or a cubed, and all of that is being raised to the fourth power. Distribute the exponent over the other exponents. Since it's power of powers, we're going to do the shortcut of multiplying. And so we have 6 to the 8th, which is 2 times 4, is 8. And then a to the 3rd to the 4th is a to the 3 times 4, which is a to the 12th. Okay, same thing. It looks a little more complicated, but it's the same thing. We're going to distribute this 2 over to all of the exponents. And so we have 3 to the 8th, x to the 24th, times y to the 30th. Now notice, since 3 to the 8th is simplified, since 3 to the 4th raised to the 2nd power is 3 to the 8th, and all we're doing here is trying to simplify, that is a perfectly acceptable answer. We do not have to evaluate what 3 to the 8th is. I don't know what that is. You need to multiply 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 3 times itself 8 times, and we're not trying to evaluate here. We're just trying to simplify. So remember, simplifying is when we are leaving our answer with exponents. Evaluating is when you actually want to figure out what the quantity is of that value. If we were evaluating, you really would have to multiply 3 times itself 8 times. But here, we don't. All right. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.